guys, welcome back to Ashley's Homestead Adventures. We are back in the farm kitchen again today, and we do still have from yesterday's video, or not yesterday's, from the last video, the salsa that we just got done canning, and we need to work on cheeky. I have got muscadine boiling here on the stove. Just washed them, picked out the big leaves and sticks and stems and things that I didn't want in there, and then basically I'm gonna boil them for 25 minutes, let them burst. I have a potato masher here, and I just go in and just mash them. We're just trying to extract the juice, is all we're trying to do in this part. Alright, let's get a loaf of sourdough going. If you want to screenshot the recipe, here it is. This is just a normal sourdough loaf. If you were wondering how the honey wheat came out of the oven, this is how it came out. This is the honey wheat here, and that is the regular white sourdough discard sandwich loaf. So both rustic loaves, I could have, shaped them into a more smooth loaf that you would normally see like for store-bought bread, but I kind of like the rustic look. It tells people, hey, this is sourdough, this is out of a farm kitchen. I like that. So this is the honey wheat. I have not tried it yet, but I definitely plan to. I'm going to keep this one for myself because it is a test run. 100 grams of active starter. Should be fairly easy. She is ripe. And I just mix it until it forms a shaggy dough. She should look like that, and we will just cover her up and wait for 30 minutes before we start our stretch and folds. Oh my word, I wish you guys could smell this. Okay, 162. All right, 76 is what we have left. And let her get happy. Okay, this is pretty much done. It's been simmering for about 30 minutes. I'm gonna let it cool off just a little bit, and while I set up my electric canner and get it sanitizing jars, and then we'll come back and we'll strain this and get our juice out of our muscadines. now that I have found and my miscellaneous jelly jars, put them in the pot. I'm going to put 3 quarts of water in the pot, and I'm also going to make sure that I fill each one of the jelly jars halfway full, and then we will go ahead and put the lid on and start the process of it will start sanitizing the jars. But I'll have to go through the system and tell it that we're water bath canning and tell it how long we are going to be canning for, which is, I think it's 20 minutes. I'll correct that if it's not 20 minutes. But I want to get this started because it takes about 20 minutes to do the sanitation part, and even longer when it's got to warm up the water. So I wanted to get this started before we start making our jelly. So I was wrong. That's my alarm for the bread. I was wrong. We are going to process these for 15 minutes. It is 10 minutes, but because of my elevation for water bath canning, I have to increase it by 5 minutes. So we are going to process these for 15 minutes, not 20. This is what our dough looks like after 30 minutes. And we are just going to stretch and fold it. Looks like this. Stretch it out, fold it over. I should have wet my hands. I didn't. I'm gonna regret that. Stretch it out, fold it over. A lot of times if you wet your hands, it won't stick as bad. Stretch it out, fold it over. 4 times, that's it. We will cover it back up and it will go for 15 minutes this time. I do 3 stretch and folds at 30 minutes, 3 stretch and folds at 15-minute increments. The first one is 30 minutes, and then 3 of 15, and then 2 more of 30. I place a clothesline clip, clothespin on the towel to tell me how many times I've stretched and folded, and that way I can keep track of where I'm at in the process. Okay, we have got our jars at least halfway full. We've got our 3 quarts of water in there. We are going to place this lid on correctly. Shut it down, lock it, plug it in. Boiling water can up here, so when it turned on it was here. Turn the knob to boiling water can, press the button, up to 15 minutes, press the button, insert jars, press play. There we go. All right, now for this is cooled down. Let's get this strained. It's funny how the muscadines lose all their color into the juice. They aren't purple anymore. But the juice is. I have a really fine mesh sieve. Now if you want a super clear jelly, you can run this through a cheesecloth and naturally let it drain for hours. And that will give you a super clear jelly. I did it this way last year and it was fine. Folgers can is my chicken bucket, for those of you who don't know. I have had great success in making sure that you rinse the pulp off every time, and that makes your jelly quite clear instead of foggy with the pulp. This process takes a little bit of time. You can be as meticulous or not meticulous as you want. Okay, now that I've gotten that part done, I'm going to go ahead and pour it one more time through that sieve into a measuring cup because I need to know how much juice I have so that I can follow the recipe. Okay, to our stock pot, we are going to add 4 cups of muscadine juice, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, a half a pat of butter, and 1 package of powdered sugar gel. I'm going to turn it on over medium heat and wait until it is boiling and will not stop boiling when stirred. So it needs to be at a rolling boil. I need to leave that for 1 minute, and then we will add our sugar, bring it back up to a rolling boil for 1 minute, shut it off, skim the foam off, and put it in our jars. You may wonder why I used such a big stock pot for such a little job. If you've never made jelly before, jelly has a real tendency, or jam even, when it starts to foam, it will raise a lot. And so you don't want to just put it in just a pot that's just big enough. You want to give yourself, plenty of room for when it starts doing that foaming thing, that you can keep it at that rolling boil while stirring it, because you don't want to cut off the heat for fear of it overflowing, because it's important that you keep it at that temperature, at that rolling boil for 1 minute, twice in this case. Looking happy. I am going to turn our stretch and fold our bread. Much better when I wet my fingers down. We are at a boil. I need to see if I can stir the boil away. I cannot. Set my timer. One minute. Add your sugar. 4 cups of it. Stir it in. Gotta keep the motion going now. It's amazing how long this part takes, you know, because you just feel like you're under fire once it hits that first boil, and then you've got to add stuff, and you know, you feel like you're under fire, and then sometimes it seems like this part takes forever to get this sugar juice, you know, boiling again. Just be patient. Don't turn your stove up. Just be patient with it. I actually really love that I have I got one heck of a wing going on there, don't I? I actually really love that a good portion of my viewers are 65 and older women. And I really feel like you guys have a wealth of knowledge to share with us, and I don't mind helpful tips and good constructive criticism. I don't ever mind that. Days like this remind me of my days that I spent with my grandma in the kitchen. It's where I got all of my desire to can and preserve food. It's my grandma. We used to spend countless hours in the kitchen canning peaches and pears and salsa and cherries and apricots and jams and jellies and butters and, you know, applesauce and just all the seasons. There was always something to can. Spaghetti sauce. Grandma didn't can a lot of meats. It was mostly fruits and vegetables. The meat canning, that comes from Mr. Wonderful. He got us into the meat canning, and he continues to drive that ship. I don't really drive the meat ship much around here. I do eat meat, but he is the creative brain behind it. And kind of the drive, you know, the drive to, hey, let's see what happens when we let's try this canning recipe for pork carne asada in jars so that we can just have tacos at our fingertips, which is delicious, by the way. We canned tuna. We haven't canned any of our chicken yet, but I know that's something he wants to do, which is a whole nother reason why you guys need to subscribe. Because once we reach 1,000 followers, Mr. Wonderful will be on the videos, and he can share his knowledge and his side of the farm, the building, and you know, all of that stuff. So we're getting close here. We are bubbling. Can I get it to go away? No, I cannot. So timer, 1 minute. Go. Just keep stirring. Here we're supposed to skim this foam off the top. Here we go. All right, let's get the jars out. Chihuahua blessing us in the kitchen. Thought you may have overheard something about canning meat. Three, 4, 5. Whoop. Play 15 minutes. I am going to spend a minute and do another load of dishes and probably sit down and start editing this video, but I will continue to bring you along on this process as it unfolds. Ooh, starting to look really good. I just turn the bowl a quarter turn every time. Look at how smooth it's starting to look. And it's all pretty much formed into one ball. Yeah, it's looking good. Well, I kind of think it's time to see how this bread turned out. Beautiful, squishy sandwich bread. Still got some sturdiness to it, but also squishy. Yep. Cut a couple pieces here. Go in the toaster. I'm gonna eat this one just the way it is. Some butter on it. Honey wheat sandwich bread. It's really good. It's got that distinct wheat flavor. It's not super sweet. I actually would like it to be a little sweeter. You know, like when you think honey wheat, you think a little bit sweeter. But the sourdough flavor kicks in and kind of cancels out the sweet. So you have just a nice wheat bread. It is a little firm, but still, you know, it has a nice soft chew to it. But when you bite into it, it's got chew. It's a little firm. It's got a decent crust on the outside, but not like your typical sourdough crust. Tastes like Grandma's kitchen, you guys. Alrighty. Stretch and fold. One more in 30 minutes. Timer says it's done. Ooh, clear water. Gotta like it. Love it when I see clear water. See what these look like. Beautiful Muscadine jelly. Well, you guys, it never fails. Every time I go to say goodbye or my intro, I've always got it covered open. I hope you guys enjoyed coming along with me again today in the kitchen while we made Muscadine jelly and started a loaf of sourdough bread. I hope you guys had a beautiful day, and I will catch you on the next one. Yours truly.